A new page in the history of the Riverland was written by the Premier John Olsen on the 27th of July when he officially opened the new bridge across the river at Berri. The opening saw the end of a 30-year wait for the people of the Riverland, and they celebrated with a monster party and a spectacular fireworks show. With John Olsen and his Liberal government, the opening was like turning back the clock to honour an undertaking given 16 years ago.
Today is a celebration of determination, perseverance and commitment. That sort of spirit that pervades country areas of South Australia, where people work together for the common good, an outcome in the interests of everybody within a district.
Work on the $17.5 million bridge officially got underway with the unveiling of a commemorative plinth near the site on the Riverview Drive by the Transport Minister Diana Laidlaw. The unveiling saw the start of a project that brought together state government, local government, Aboriginal community, Riverland Development Corporation and private enterprise. The project was the first to be initiated by private enterprise under the Brown Liberal government's Building a Better Future program. Lobbying for a bridge across the river at Berri goes back 40 years.
My husband was chairman of the council for years, and it's going back a long way, and he was trying for it then, so...
Do you know why they didn't get it at that stage?
Pardon?
Do you know why they didn't get it then?
Politics, I suppose. Politics
and an election again interfered in 1982, when the Liberal government's decision to build the bridge under the $80 million Bicentennial Roads program was overturned and deferred in favour of the Gawler bypass.
You know, we could have had the bridge in the early 80s, and that would have been wonderful, because that bridge would have gone right up to Bukpanong and would have been a bridge that would never have gone out with high rivers or anything else. However, that's past, and I think we've just got to look to the future. We've certainly had to argue very hard over these years for this bridge, and you know, there are so many people who have been there for us. I can say that without trying to be political, that under a Labor government we would never have got the bridge. John Bannon made that quite clear. He said he would never have, it wouldn't gain him any votes building a bridge at Berri or anywhere else in the Riverland, and so he just would not even entertain the idea of building the bridge.
The bridge proposed by the Liberal government in 1981 was apparently similar to the structure in place today. The estimated cost then, $12 million. Peter Arnold was the local member at the time, and his files go well back into the 70s.
The concept of the bridge during the mid-70s was that there had to be a bridge and a causeway of 1956 level built to support that bridge. Now, of course, the causeway was to cost more than the bridge. The latter concept in 1980-81 was that we just build the bridge and use the existing causeway. And of course, the initial bridge proposal was ruled out purely on the cost, and just building the bridge alone in 1980-81, we could build that bridge for around $12 million.
The project was given renewed vigour 13 years later when it was identified as a priority in the Riverland's economic development strategy.
What we were able to do by saying that the Riverland Development Strategy identified it, when we were asked by Dean Brown, was this the number one infrastructure project for the Riverland and would the community support it? We were able to say yes, the Riverland Development Strategy is being done. It was 18 months of community consultation and the Berri Bridge came up as number one.
It was said at the time that building a bridge at Berri would give a tremendous boost to the local economy and the morale of the Riverland community. Those benefits, just 12 months later, were estimated at $34 million. The proposal to build the two-lane National Highway Standard Bridge was put forward by Adelaide construction company Built Environs in early 1994. The proposal was submitted under the government's BOOT scheme, Build, Own, Operate and Transfer. But it took another 12 months, hundreds of man-hours and $200,000 before it was finally submitted to the government. According to David O'Sullivan from Built Environs, in terms of planning an infrastructure project such as the Berri Bridge, it didn't take long.
They can often take 5 to 7 years from concept to completion, and I think what we managed to do in 1 year, it was fast-track the whole thing. But it does need a year's planning to properly plan a project of this size and make sure that you've spoken to everybody that needs to be spoken to and got the right solution.
Well, how important was the support of the Aboriginal community?
Absolutely crucial, as with other parts of the community, but the Aboriginal community were enthusiastic and supportive right from the start, and yes, it was certainly crucial in giving us the confidence to go ahead with our proposal.
The project was finally submitted to the government in March of 1995 as a joint submission by Built Environs, the district councils of Berri and Loxton, the Gerard Reserve Council, the Aboriginal Lands Trust and the Riverland Development Corporation. Local industries gave their backing by pledging over $100,000. Contributions from the Berri and Loxton councils were also significant. The Berri Council gave a pledge of $50,000 and the Loxton Council $25,000.
Margaret Evans and I and our two CEOs in particular have worked tirelessly to get this bridge, and it has cost us quite a bit of money. We had to fund the survey done by and the report done by the Centre for Economic Studies that proved the economic value of the bridge and the loss that was being made by using those ferries. We had to obtain quite a lot of data, some of which fell off the back of the truck for us, over the costs of running the ferries, etc. And so I think those economic studies, for instance, cost something like $15,000, which Loxton and Berri Council had to fund. At one stage we gave Built Environs a guarantee on the geotech studies when they were not sure that they would get the bridge contract, and they were having to do that before they could actually be given the contract, and they just felt they'd gone in far enough. So far as borrowing money was concerned, with no guarantees from the government that they would get the bridge. And so I think Loxton and Berri Council, we guaranteed that we would pay the $40,000 should the bridge not go ahead.
The bridge has been constructed on what was formerly Aboriginal land, approximately 1 kilometre downstream from the former ferry site. A land agreement signed between the government and Aboriginal Lands Trust in June of 1996 paved the way for the construction.
I was involved with a Gerard community, and they supported this concept of the bridge. They saw the benefits not only to them, to the non-Aboriginal community, but also to them.
The Crawford Terrace site was just one of a number looked at by Built Environs.
No, we looked at 7 different sites before we finally chose this one, but we eliminated the others very quickly because this site has significant advantages over all the other options. All of the other possible alignments interfere with the traffic patterns in the town and would require build-ups in the middle of streets, which would impose on the local landscape. The build-up we've needed to do for the bridge approaches, we've been able to do 500 metres downstream from the town, so it doesn't affect any of the other streets or traffic flows.
So there'll be no noise factor for the people who are close-handy?
There should be no more noise than was there before. There may be a slightly increased traffic density, but this is predicted to be no more than 10%, and in any case wouldn't give rise to any more noise.
You obviously had to take in environmental issues as well as community issues.
Yes, every project now has to be environmentally sensitive, and in fact this one is environmentally positive. We've done help with some wetlands regeneration on the Loxton side of the river and carefully landscape the project to make sure that it's a positive to the environment and doesn't degrade it.
Now, the argument that you put up to the government was that they were going to save money. Now, how are they saving money with this?
They're saving money because it currently costs the government almost $1 million a year to run the ferry service. Now that revenue stream is simply diverted to pay for the bridge, and eventually in a period of about 20 to 23 years the bridge is paid off, and from that point on the money that would have been used to run the ferries is saved.
Construction of the 330-metre long bridge and its associated roadworks finally got underway in August of 1996 with work on the pylons. The bridge spans were built on site and incrementally launched across the river, a process that fired the imagination of the community.
Well, that was the thing that really got me in, because he had 2 jacks, and these hydraulic jacks could push that bridge over the whole of the river at 40 metres a time, which took about 7 hours each time. I was there most of the time. And to have a friction of only 2%, it's unbelievable. And it's something to go down in history.
We use a technique that's been around for about 30 years, but this is the first time that it's been used exactly the way we've done it, and we've actually achieved here the fastest launch of a 10-span bridge ever achieved in Australia, and I think we've perfected the technique a bit further.
There have been many people over the past 30 years who have fought long and hard to get the Berri Bridge, and that dedication and commitment was recognised during the opening ceremony, with the unveiling of a plaque with their names. The former Mayor of Loxton, the late Mr. Peter Jackson, heads that list.
This project's been a success in every possible way, in terms of it's uniting and enthusing the community, in terms of the engineering excellence achieved, in terms of the development opportunities that we'll create in the Riverland. And to walk onto this site, there was always a tremendous level of enthusiasm and camaraderie that you don't normally see on building sites. And that's a credit, I think, to us and to the local community.